Live from New York City, it's the Wendy Williams Show. Today, from her battles in the boardroom to the Kenya controversy, Vivica A. Fox sounds off on her Celebrity Apprentice exit from last night. And Wendy and one of her favorites, Dr. Phil, take your questions and tackle the hottest headlines. Plus, all of today's super juicy hot topics. Now, here's Wendy.
People. So good. How you doing? You need to ask? I'm doing fabulous. Let's get started. It's time for Hot It's good, thank you for coming to the show. Looking cute. I hope you're doing fabulous today as well, hi. Okay, that Kanye rant about Beck shouldn't have won the Grammy. Well, first of all, shout out to all my Facebook friends and shout out to the studio audience that was here yesterday. Because the studio audience had no idea, if you watched the show, they had no idea who Beck was. I don't know who Beck is. I got, millions of Facebook people. Half of them knew who Beck was, the other half didn't. And this is what I say about music. Like, if I turn on Elvis Duran and it's not something that Elvis is playing, then I don't know what you're talking about, in a lot of cases. Or if it's not on a mixtape. And obviously, Beck is not mixtape-ish. So Kanye's getting tons of backlash for interrupting Beck at the Grammys. He was slammed. People were saying that because he said that Beck should give up his Album of the Year award to Beyonce. First of all, I'm not giving up nothing. People are saying that Kanye should apologize to Beck and the Grammys. Well, I think that what Kanye is doing is, first of all, he's putting too much weight in awards. How many people in this audience deserve an award but never got one? Me too! Does getting an award make you any less fabulous or more fabulous? No. No. It's just another damn thing to dust on our day off. I mean, awards are nice, but Kanye, what you're doing right now is you are acting like a child, which is just another day in Kanye's life. Apparently, this Beck has been around for 20 years. I don't know where I've been. But he's been around for 20 years. The Grammy committee, they're the ones who vote for who should win the Grammy. So in other words, Kanye, they will continue to nominate you because they like your crazy behind in the audience. But it'll be probably a cold day before you ever win another Grammy. Like, really? And people say Kanye's a musical genius. I think that there's a wall that you hit with genius, and once you get to the other side of the wall, it's... Exactly. Ticky, ticky, boom, boom. And that's you, Kanye. You're very entertaining, and you know what? I'm kind of over covering Kanye rants. I mean, I do it now because I know you guys want to know, but I'm over it. He's the one person that I can think of off the top of my head that I just give him a pass. Anything that comes out of his mouth, it's not even stunning or surprising anymore. It's certifiable-ish. And Beyonce's Beyhives. Listen, first of all, let me just say, Beyonce had 17 Grammys before Sunday night. She picked up 3 that night. Now she's got 20 Grammys. Beyonce is doing just fine without Beck's Grammy or your mouth, Kanye. Number one. And number two, I will remind you again that awards don't mean a lot. We all thought Tom Cruise had an Oscar. He's never gotten an Oscar. No. If I never get a daytime Emmy, it would not make me any less of a host to you, would it? Don't worry, daytime Emmy people, I'm not holding my breath. Look, Esperanza Spalding, remember her? Where's she at? First of all, I didn't know her before she picked up Best New Artist in 2011, and I haven't heard from her since, and I still don't know what music she does. Do you know who that is? No. Do you remember when she won? No. Do you remember saying, who is this? Yes. Hello, Kanye. And by the way, the woman with the most Grammys in all of Grammy history, do you know who it is? No. Well, that's what I'm here to tell you. Alison Krauss. 27 Grammys and we still don't know who she is. I know who she is. I know who she is because I went to a little an event. Kenny Rogers and Dolly and Allison was there and I met her, but I did not know. Hi, Allison. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I only thought that you were a singer up there in the Foxwoods. I didn't know that you're the most Grammy'd woman ever. Look, I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm just here to state my case and then go back to Jersey. That's it. And you know the Beyhives are on the swarm. Because that's Beyonce's super fans. They feel that Beyonce should have gotten that Grammy, and they're also saying, who is Beck? Relax, Beyhives. I would imagine the average age of a Beyhive is probably about 19. No older than 21. Higher than that? Wow. Well, listen. The Beyhives have started a petition. This is what I'm saying. To strip Beck of his Grammy. No, it gets worse. The Beyhives hacked Beck's Wikipedia page and changed some of his things. They called him a stealer and a thief from hell. That's why I was assuming the average age is 19, because most of us have a job and have bills to pay. We don't have time. Okay? Most of us don't have time in the day to figure out who Beck is or do a hackalation on a page and swarm at people. Beyonce, I think that you should stay out of this. I mean, in our Hot Topics meeting this morning, there were a bunch of my producers who were saying, you, Beyonce, have an obligation to talk to your Beyhive and tell them, call them back to the hive. But that's not my thought, because it has been known that the bees sometimes turn on their queen. So you don't want the hive swarming on you, Beyonce. So I say, shh, but I've rigged something. I think that you should probably do this. Go on social media and just type something in that Beck deserved to win. I'm proud of my 20 Grammys. Exclamation, sideways smiley face. That's it. And Iggy Azalea, everybody thinks this is your fault but me. The following story. I hate this dress. And you know what it is? And I know it's Armani Privé, but let me just say, what is going on down here? Like, if you're gonna wear illusion mesh, do you wanna show an illusion of your ankle, or do you want, you know what I mean? And also, I don't like the shoulder cutouts. I think that it should just be that one thick strap and a little rib cage mesh. And then the gown should go all the way to the bottom and then train. I love a train, you know, and then train out. All right, so Iggy, and the hair too, just wrong. But I like her, but I like her. I don't know her, but I like her. So here she is at home, minding her own business. You know, she and her boyfriend Nick, they just bought this new $5 million mansion. She decides to order herself a pizza, plain. No anchovies or anything. As a foodie, these things are important to me. The delivery guy showed up, gave her the pizza. Turns out Iggy made the call for the pizza from her cell phone, so now the delivery guy has her cell phone number, decides to give it to his friends and family. So look at this, right? She gets a text. Hello, is this Iggy Azalea? My My brother delivered a pizza to you and he gave me your number on Friday night. I'm your #1 fan. Call me back, please. Is this you? Please answer. You are my idol. Now you might say, well, why didn't she use her house phone? Because she doesn't have children. Only we with children have a house phone, is that correct? And the second he's out of the house, I'm getting that bill cut. The house phone is for my son's school and for the snow patrol to call and tell us 2-hour delayed opening. Which, by the way, we had this morning, but there was no snow. They said something about ice, only I wasn't slipping and sliding. But anyway, look. So she calls from her cell phone thinking she's dealing with mature people. I've done that before. I mean, you know, I make phone calls and just expect people to respect privacy. So Iggy, I don't blame this on you, but everybody in my meeting, they were like, well, why doesn't she have a burner phone? Because she's just walking around the house in a pair of shorts and a cut-off shirt and probably no bra, you know the way we do around the house. And she says, I'm hungry, and orders a pizza, that's all. I don't think that this is your fault, but what I would do, I would put on some sweatpants and a bra and a wig, and I would march to my car, and I would start it with aggression, and I would drive red-faced to that pizza spot. And I would get out of that car. Really? I would pick that boy out in a lineup and I would let the manager know what he's done. And I'd talk loud so everybody in the place would be scared. They'd be like, isn't that Wendy? It looks like her, but she's always so happy on the TV. Look, and then I would inform my whole community because I think that, and I've gotten a sense of community now, you know, that I'm older. I mean, there was a time where, you know, you don't talk to anybody on your floor in the apartment, you know, you don't care. You let the toilet run because you're renting or whatever. But, you know, once you're having children, there is a sense of community that I've grown into, and I really do. Shout out to everybody in my community. Let me tell you something. I would be in the grocery stores letting people know that this pizza place is not the place to trust. They hire faulty drivers. When I go pick up my thyroid pills at the pharmacy, you know how there's always people waiting for their medication? I'd be holding court with those people in those stiff chairs. Yup, don't use that pizza spot. They will violate your privacy. Yes, Iggy, that's all. And things have gone from bad to worse for Brian Williams at NBC News. Well, as we all know, somebody suggested that he should grow a beard and go into hiding. And I said no, because the beard would go off to the side. He has an off to the side chin when he smiles. Hi, Brian. Still a very handsome man, but I'm just saying, you know, like when you grow a beard. I got a good night's sleep last night. So Brian temporarily took himself off the air after making those false claims. Well he should have, but I've had like 72 hours to think about this. And here's what I'm thinking. At first, you know, I was the one leading the charge in here, talking about they need to fire him. He's a newsman, he's got to be credible. If he told me the sky was blue, I'd have to walk to the window and see for myself. I would not believe him. But then hearkening back to some of the things that I've shared with you, which are, if celebrities just lay low for a beat of time, we all forget everything. Because we're so involved in our lives trying to pay bills and, you know, vote, beat our kids, or whatever you do, you know? So I'm thinking, if he stays off the air for 45 days or the first day of spring, whichever comes first, he can go back on that show. And he might not be the #1 newsman anymore, because some of us will remember when we watch him, but there's nothing wrong with being #2. Well, listen, so the fill-in for him last night was Lester Holt. Now, you know, Lester's a tall drink of water. If you've never met him, he's like 6'3". And he's been on our show before, but he's a friend. He's like a big brother in my head or something, because I watch him on the ID channel. He does that show he does a show on the ID channel. So Lester filled in for. He went to George Washington. Where did he go? California. California State. He's a newsman. He started out in Chicago. Shout out to everybody in Chi. You remember Lester from back in the beginning? He's a nice representation of my people. And so he replaced Brian last night and got to shading immediately. Take a look.
We want to take just a moment to tell you where Brian is tonight. In a message to his colleagues over the weekend, Brian told us he's taking several days off this broadcast amid questions over how he recalls certain stories he covered. In a career spent covering the news, Brian told us it's clear he's become too much a part of the news. He'll be off while this issue is dealt with.
Sidebar, because you know I love a good poll. People in the audience, look, who'd you rather? Clap for Brian. Who'd you rather? Clap for Lester. Uh-oh.